Welcome back to the ball game. Apologize for that interruption. Not sure how we got cut off, but we're back. Let me reset it for you here. Josh Bryan just picked up a Delta foul, his second, team's third here in the second half. 2:39 of the third quarter, 36-25. Delta on top. Now matching up a little on defense. Hook has it on top for the Dragons. They'll give off to Gizzy, who will drive to the paint, pulls up. 13-footer, no good. Delta with the glass by Bedwell. Here they come with it. Final 2:15 of the period. Feed to the paint. Wilburn fakes, takes it up, gets fouled. He'll shoot two. On a foul by New Pal. Everybody okay. He kind of got flipped in the air, did Wilburn, but he's all right. Mark Detweiler says, where are my free throws? The foul is going to be on Eric Raudebush of New Pal. It's going to be a common foul. And an inbounds play on the baseline right under us with Josh Bryan to trigger in. 2:15 to go in the period. Delta out in front 36-25. They come to the corner to Bedwell. Feeds low post. Bryan out on top. Now they'll swing to the corner. Hunt thought about a three. Gave it up instead to Garner. Garner on the wing, guarded by Gizzy. Garner gets a pick, drives baseline, feeds underneath to the cutter. Way in, good. Wesley Wooden picks up his first bucket of the night, and it's 38-25, another 13-point lead for Delta in the final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Dragons need a spurt here. Gizzy, bounce pass to the corner. Now they swing it on top to Hook. Hook drives it inside the arc, gives to Gizzy. Gizzy inside the arc. Stop and go move. Feeds baseline. Nice feed for the assist by Gizzy. The layup good by Dylan Roman, and the timeout called quickly by New Palestine. We're going to stay right here. No, it's going to be full. We'll give it to the break. 1:32 to go, third quarter. Delta 38. New Pal 27 on Beaver Media and the Delco Preps channel.
The clutch shot. The timely hit. The perfect pitch. The heroic catch, the brilliant save, the photo finish. The Indiana High School Athletic Association would like to remind you that the biggest plays in sports matter little if you don't practice sportsmanship. Character counts. Practice sportsmanship. This message brought to you by the IHSAA and the high schools in this community.
Welcome back to the ball game. It's Delta 38, New Pal 27 with 1:32 to go here in the third quarter. New Pal just took a timeout to reset their strategy, but Delta has played great in the middle two periods. At the end of one, it was 16-15. New Pal, Delta scored the first 10 points of the second quarter, took a 26-20 lead at halftime. Here in the third quarter, Eagles playing very, very well. Playing very, very well. And doing it quite nicely as they get set to bring it in bounds. And here's another whistle on the fly. Foul on New Pal, common foul. Foul whistled that time on Matthew True, his third foul. Sixth on the team, that's trouble for New Pal. Eagles attacking. Bryan, 16-footer, out top, got it. Faked his man, fired and hit. 21 for him tonight in a 40-27 game. Delta leading by 13 again, final 1:05 of the third quarter. Gizzy. Maximus has been minimus tonight. He has 1 point. Delta's really defended him well. He's a good player. Three-pointer, free on top. The rebound off the iron. No good on the miss by Romine. Here come the Eagles with 45 seconds to play with. Bryan fakes, fires along two. Got it! Delta said three. His foot was on the line. A good call. 23 points by Bryan. It's 42-27. 15-point lead is the biggest of the game for Delta. Final 30 seconds of the period. Gizzy has it. Looks inside. Back out on top. Now right back to Gizzy on the far wing with 20 to go. He cuts one loose. He hits a three-pointer. Told you it was good. 42-30. 4 points in the game for Gizzy. Final 7 seconds of the period. Here comes Brian. Double team. Throws it away underneath. Here comes New Pal. They're going to have to uncork it. 60-footer is no good, and that'll end the period. We go to the final roundup. Delta 42. New Pal 30 on Beaver Media and the Delco Preps channel. Stay right there.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Indiana. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. A wintry Friday night. A packed gymnasium in a tight-knit community. A shot taken. History made. A state of delirium? No. The state of Indiana. High school sports. Pure spirit. Pure sport. Pure Indiana. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
We head to the fourth quarter in Delta High School's gym with Delta out in front of New Pal 42-30. Eagles have the ball to open things here in the fourth quarter with Garner going to work. They bring it across the timeline. Corner of the key to Hunt. Now on the wing to Brian. They double team him. Back way out on top to Garner. Here on the wing, Hunt looks for a cutter. Can't find one. Out on top with Greenberg now on the dribble. These throws underneath, rather, intended for Brian. It's knocked away and stolen away. Here comes New Pal. Gizzy pulls up and hits from about 10 feet out in the paint. Beautiful hoop for Gizzy. He has 6 in the game to make it 42-32. And New Pal going to pressure now, trailing by 10 in the fourth quarter. Let's see what Delta does with it. Eagles have the ball, dribbling way out on top around the perimeter. Wilburn gets it from Brian and nails another three. Tyler Wilburn with 13 points on the night to make it 45-32. Fantastic game tonight for Wilburn. He's playing really, really well. Delta back defensively now with under 7 minutes left in the game. Here's a turnover, pass thrown right into the arms of a Delta player. Here comes Hunt. Someone better stop the ball. Comes into the paint, jumps, stops, shoots, and hits. Nope, off the rim, no good. Tried to go down. Now Gizzy the other way on the fast break. Swatted as he goes to the glass. It'll be a foul on Delta. Gizzy will shoot free throws. We'll wait on the signal as the official gives a little sermon on the free throw key. It's going to be a foul on Brady Hunt. That's the third on him. Going to the line is Gizzy. He hits. 7 point for him tonight. That makes it 45-33. Second one also good. Gizzy with 8 points. 45-34 game. Delta with the ball. Trying to get a shot, get a look here clean down here on the baseline. Brian gets mugged going to the basket. He's fouled. Fans did not like the call on the New Pal side. It's going to be on Maven Hook, his 4th foul and the 7th on the team. So it's bonus time the rest of the way for Delta with 6:20 to go in the game. Josh Bryan at the stripe. First one on the way. Good. 24th point of the night for Josh Bryan. 46-34, Delta in front. Subbing in for New Pal is Dylan Romine as Hook checks out in foul trouble. Greenberg looking for another point, rather Bryan, and he's got it. 25 for him. 47-34 game. Early fourth quarter in a game that Delta trailed after one but has led ever since. Gizzy has it in the paint. Needs help. Got it right back from the cutter. Now out on top of a three on the way and good. Nice look and a splash by Matthew True. He's got 14 to make it 47-37 Delta. Now a steal by New Pal as they press and go to the trap. Dragons aren't dead just yet. Eastus tried to drive. He got fouled along the way. I think it's going to be on Wilburn. It is on Wilburn. I've got him for 2, fifth against Delta. So, sideline inbound play. Delta going back to work defensively. New Pal looking for a hoop. Gizzy fires, got it. Long 2. 10 for him in the game, and it's 47-39. It's down under double figures now. Here's a steal. Gizzy has it, driving to the baseline, goes up, he's fouled. Press really starting to bother Delta. Tyler Wilburn picks up the foul. Fouls are starting to become an issue for Delta. Going to the line is Gizzy, and he's got the first. He'll have another. They've got a whistle and a timeout by Delta. 5:20 to go in the game. It's a full timeout. We'll take the break. It's Delta 47, New Pal 40 on Beaver Media and the Delco Preps channel.
A 50-50 ball. An elbow to the ribs. A sudden flash of tempers. In sports, anything can happen in the heat of the moment. The Indiana High School Athletic Association reminds you that when cooler heads prevail, everybody wins. When the game heats up, will you keep your cool? This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
We're back at Delta High School. Brian Beaver along with you. Great having you along for the ride. Apologize for that earlier interruption. Technology being what it is. It's not always completely reliable. But we'll ride with you the rest of the way, hopefully. Coming out of a Delta timeout in the middle of a 2-shot free throw opportunity for Max Gizzy, who now has 11 points in the game, all in the second half. He'll have another. Looking to cut it to a 2-possession game if he can get this one. Free throw on the way. It's good. 12 points for Gizzy. 47-41. 5:16 to go. New Pal going to the pressure. It's bothered Delta. They've gotten their way back into the game. It was a 13-point lead for Delta not long ago. Three-pointer from the corner is short off the hands of Wilburn. Offensive glass by the Eagles. Nice work that time. Delta will recycle. Here's Wilburn near corner. Bryan on top. He'll drive. Back away from the double team. Picks up his dribble. Gets to Wilburn. He'll drive to the paint. Fire. Can't get it on the run. Just left it short. Rebound New Pal. Here come the Dragons. They can cut it to 3 on this trip if they can bury a triple. Gizzy tries to drive it on Greenberg, and he's fouled. Greenberg picks up the common foul. Two fouls on Greenberg. Both teams in the bonus now will shoot a lot of free throws in the final minutes of this game. 1-and-1 coming for Gizzy. There it goes. He missed it. Delta can't get the rebound. They track it down in the corner. Now they do get it. It's out of bounds off a New Pal player. Coach Whitaker was not happy with the call from New Pal. Delta will have it. Clear across the gym in the far corner in the backcourt. They'll have to bring it the length of the floor. Leading 47-41. That was a costly miss by Gizzy. Here comes Delta trying to get out of the trap. They've got it in the forecourt. Bryan with it on the far wing. Double team. Skip pass near side to the wide open Garner. Wilburn in the corner. One dribble back out to reset it with Garner. 4:21 to go in the game. 47-41 Delta. Bryan has it. Let's see what he does. Guarded by Romine. Gives to Hunt. Slips the screen. Drives. Fires out the glass. No. Rebound by New Pal. Nice work defensively that time by the Dragons. Here they come with a chance to cut it to 3. Wow. Technical foul has been called on Mark Detweiler, who was not happy with that last possession, and now he's been teed up, and that could be huge. Comes at 4:04 to go in the game in a 47-41 contest. Going to the line, Matthew True. All by himself. First one up, missed it. We'll hear what the fans at Delta think of that one. It'll be another free throw coming for True. He's got a 14.9 under his belt, but these are huge free throws. Second one, missed them both. Wow. Karma? Maybe. New Pal will keep the ball off the technical foul. The fans in his grill, Matthew True's. Dragons will inbound the ball at midcourt across the way. Dawson Eastis will do the honors when we get play back underway eventually. Wow. Well, I'm not sure what Mark Detweiler was unhappy about that led to the gripe that led to the tech. But here we go again. New Pal with the ball. Three-pointer near wing. Rolls out. Wanted to go down off the fingertips of Matthew True, but Delta's got the rebound on the ball. Final 3:45. Bryan driving the key, feeding the corner. Fake three. Wilburn works it back out, eats some clock with Garner. He'll drive the paint. Feed to the baseline. Cutter. Bedwell hits off the glass. Beautifully done. Connor Bedwell with his first bucket. 49-41 Delta. 3:25 to go in the game. You hear the fans chanting defense. Delta among the state leaders in team defense. High post feed and a whistle on the catch as Brady Hunt fouled Dylan Romine. That's trouble for Delta. That's 4 on Hunt. Team foul number 9 by the Eagles. At the stripe, Dylan Romine, the guy with the broken finger on his offhand. He hits. Give him his third point. He'll have another free throw. It's 49-42. Delta leading by 7. This has been a great basketball game. Romine will have another. The right-hander fires, and he got them both. Dylan Romine buries both ends of it. Nicely done to make it 49-43. Delta will have to inbound and bring it the length of the floor with 3:17 to go. Hunt is the trigger man. He gets it into Bryan. Bryan will bring it back down the floor. Delta beats the pressure. Garner has it on top. Bryan back to Garner on the wing. Man-to-man defensively by New Pal. Romine way out on top guarding Garner. That's a mismatch. Garner's a good ball handler. Gives to Bryan. Drives the paint. Fires. He hit it! He was surrounded by defenders. Bryan scored by sticking it in the face of four defenders. Incredible. Basket is good. I have never seen a guy score on 4 defenders the way he just did. makes it 51-43. That is the drive of the year, and I've got it on tape, and you're going to see it on Twitter. Man, what a move. Josh Bryan looking for his 28th point. All by himself. No other Eagle on the key. Splash. 28 points in the game for Bryan to make it 52-43. Under 3 minutes to play in the contest. Long three out on top. No good by True. Delta with the board. It was a fast break opportunity and a foul given to Bryan going down the floor. But if this was the NBA, that would be a clear path foul. As it is, it'll be the fourth one on True. Both teams with 9 team fouls. Clock stops with 2:42 to go. Josh Bryan at the stripe for Delta. First one. Good. 29 points. Looking for the next one. Got them both. 54-43. New Pal back to work. Gizzy drives. Cut off. He'll fire anyway. Can't get it. Rebound. Stick back is good. Well done in midair by Eric Raudebusch to get his first bucket of the night. 54-45. Delta will bring it across the timeline. They got to hurry at 2:19 to go in the game. Great feed underneath for the lay-in. Bryan with the assist. Wilburn with the bunny. 15 points on the night for Wilburn. And on the other end, a foul driving to the window. It's going to be free throw time for New Pal. I think Brady Hunt just fouled out of the game. You can see it in his body language. He knows he's going to go. Brady Hunt has fouled out. Mark Detweiler has 60 seconds to get a replacement checked in. Wow. Unbelievable game. It's been everything we thought it might be. Wesley Wooden is checking in for Hunt, who has fouled out and gets a nice hand. Hunt has scored 7 points in the game. So 2:06 left. 11-point Delta lead. But danger here. It's not over yet. Max Gizzy at the line to shoot. It's a double bonus situation the rest of the way for New Pal. Gizzy waiting, firing, hitting. 13 points for Max. I've got him at 6 out of 8 from the stripe in the game. Waiting on his second one. Got them both. He's money in the bank, and it's 56-47 with 2 minutes to go in the game. Backcourt trap. Delta's having trouble. Long pass ahead. Wilburn tips it. It's off a New Pal defender out of bounds. It'll belong to Delta. Up to check in for Delta, a ball handler. It's Josh Greenberg as Bedwell takes a seat with 1:59 left in the contest. Fantastic game tonight from Royerton, Indiana. Delta, the number 3 team, or rather the number 5 team in 3A, trying to go to 10-0 to start the season. Here's a foul given on the chase by Max Gizzy, the New Pal defender, and Garner will shoot free throws for the Eagles. Second foul on Gizzy, the 10th on New Pal. Both teams in the double bonus from here on out. Zach Garner going to the line. 2-shot trip. First free throw tonight, and it's good. Garner has his first point, 57-47. Delta looking to make it 11 points again. Junior guard hits. 2 out of 2 trip to the line to make it 58-47. Quickly the other way, Gizzy, long 2, won't go for him. Offensive rebound ripped out of the hands of the New Pal rebounder. Brady ahead. Rather, make it Bryan lays it in. 60-47. 31 points in the game for him. Gizzy has it. Clock starting to be an issue. Corner of the key, jump shot up and no good by New Pal. Raudebusch couldn't get it. Eagles are in the driver's seat now, leading by 13. Here's a whistle and a foul given on the chase defensively by New Pal. I think it's going to be Gizzy. It is on Gizzy. Garner will go to the stripe. 2 shots. 2 out of 2 on the night. Make it 3 out of 3. (61-47). Every team needs one guy who handles the ball, who can bury free throws. Garner's doing it. All 4 of them good tonight for Zach. 62-47. Dragons at the other end need one in a hurry. Baseline jumper from 15 won't go. Rebound by Bryan. That's about all she wrote as Delta brings it down the floor. Leading by a bunch. Wilburn has it knocked away. Now it's loose on the floor. Wilburn picks it up. Goes way back out on top near the timeline to Garner. Garner cross court to Bryan. You hear the Delta fans coming to life. They know this one is in the bag. 62-47. Final 45 seconds of the game. Garner has it. Gets it to Bryan. Bryan throws it away underneath. Totally unnecessary pass. He'll get a lecture. Coming the other way on the turnover. 3-pointer. Gizzy. No. Rebound comes down. There's going to be a foul against Delta on the fight for the rebound, and the clock will stop with 32.5 to go. Josh Greenberg with his 3rd foul. 2 free throws coming for Dawson Eastis. Eastis with 12 points in the game, but only 2 in the second half. Big right-hander. Eyes it, tries it, misses. New Pal has missed some critical free throws in this game, but with a 15-point gap, it's probably not critical now, but man, you got to hit your free throws, and he knows that. It's up. It's on the way. Got it. 13-point night for Dawson Eastis. 62-48. Long lead pass ahead. Wilburn will lay it in uncontested. That's how to beat a press. 64-48. Thrown away on the other end. A turnover by New Pal. Final 15 seconds of the game. Here comes Delta. Josh Bryan will have to cross the timeline with it unless they're going to risk a 10 count, and it's a 10 count. You got to keep your head in the game. Delta turns it over. It's not going to hurt them. They won't lose, but there's a lesson there. Final 5 seconds of the game. Across the way, sideline inbounds comes to Gizzy. Gizzy with 3, with 2. He'll fire along 2. It's up at the buzzer. No good, and the game is over. Delta has improved to 10-0. The final score, Eagles 64, Dragons 48. Delta stays perfect in 2018 and 19. Good handshake line sportsmanship. This one is in the books, and it belongs to the kids in blue. We'll take a break, and the post-game show is up next on Beaver Media and the Delco Preps channel. Stay right there.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Indiana. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Welcome back to Delta High School. We're in the post-game show after a Delta victory over a game New Pal squad. The final score, 64-48. New Pal actually led the game at the first stop, 16-15. A 10-0 Delta run to open period number 2 gave the Eagles the lead, and they kept it the rest of the way, leading at halftime 26-20, extending that lead to 42-30 at the end of 3, and they win 64-48. Another double-figure margin of victory by the number 5 team in 3A basketball in Indiana. The victory improves Delta to 10-0 overall, 2-0 in the league. New Pal drops to 5-3 overall, 2-1 in the league. You look down at the unofficial score sheet. Well, I've got a pretty cleanly played game. 12 unofficial turnovers by Delta, make it 13 by Delta, and only 9 unofficially by New Pal. The Dragons did a really nice job fighting back in it. They had it cut down to 6 a couple times, but Delta finished with a flourish late, and the Eagles win going away in a really fantastic high school basketball game tonight in Royerton. When I talked to Mark Detweiler before the game, he said, I don't know what to expect from the kids. These long gaps in the season at Christmas break can be a blessing or a curse, and he thought they might be flat tonight. They were not flat, not for long anyway. They beat a good team by 16 points. You don't do that with smoke and mirrors. They really played the game well tonight here in their home gymnasium. Unofficially down on the score sheet, Josh Bryan, I have him for 31 points in the game to lead all scorers. Let's see, unofficially the rest of the way, Tyler Wilburn with 17, Brady Hunt with 7. So it was pretty much the Josh Bryan show for a lot of this game tonight, and I don't know why college coaches don't want the kid, maybe because he's not real big and not real strong, but that kid can play the game, and when you see the way he finished against 4 defenders at the rim, yeah, I think you're going to be convinced that he's a pretty good player as a high school senior. Look down at the score sheet. Max Gizia, the leading scorer for the Dragons, coming in. No points in the first half. 14 for him unofficially in the second half. Matthew True, I've got him for 14. I've got 13 for Dawson Eastis, but he had 10 of those in the first quarter. Delta held him to 3 the rest of the way. So Delta did a really nice job defending the guy who was hot in the first quarter and pretty much shut him off the rest of the way like a really good defensive team will do. And that's exactly what the Eagles are this year from Delta. They not only can score it, but boy, can they absolutely shoot the lights out. They'll have some work to do on pressure defense. They made some unwise plays and passes here late in the game, but they win this one by a final of 64-48. Take another break. Back with more after this timeout on Beaver Media and the Delco Preps channel. Stay right there.
A wintry Friday night. A packed gymnasium in a tight-knit community. A shot taken. History made. A state of delirium? No. The state of Indiana. High school sports. Pure spirit. Pure sport. Pure Indiana. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
Everybody loves a good sports movie.
I've seen Rudy 10 times.
I love Hoosiers.
If there were a sports movie about steroids, it might be called The Myth, the Truth, and the Consequences. The myth is that steroids are good for your game. The truth is they're bad for you and the sport you play. And the long-term consequences on your health are downright ugly.
That's one movie I think I'll skip.
High school sports. Pure spirit, pure sport. This message brought to you by the IHSAA and the high schools in this community.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Indiana are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who play high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Welcome back to Delta High School. Brian Beaver along with you tonight, and Delta moves to 10-0, winning a Hoosier Heritage Conference game with New Pal tonight. The final score, Eagles 64, Dragons 48. Again, from the quarter perspective, New Pal leads at the first step, 16-15, but a Josh Bryan triple gave Delta the lead back at 18-16. Delta scored the first 10 points of the second quarter, took a 26-20 halftime lead to the locker room, held New Pal to 4 points total in the second quarter. Pretty good defense for Delta this year. Third quarter, Eagles outscore New Pal 16-10. They lead 42-30 after 3, and they pull away with a 22-18 advantage in the fourth period, and the Eagles win their 10th game of the season against no defeats by a final of 64-48. We might end up with Coach Detweiler coming up. We're not too sure. We'll keep it here just for a little bit as we take a look at just how this game went down. Josh Bryan had a monster night. Unofficially, I've got him for 31. That'll leave him 5 points shy of 1,000 for his career. 12 in the first half, 19 in the second half unofficially for Josh Bryan. Wilburn played a really nice game for Delta, finishing with 17 points unofficially. And Brady Hunt, who had a couple highlight dunks, 7 points for him before fouling out. So he was well below his average, half of his 13-point average. But Josh Bryan was all he's advertised to be tonight, and then a little bit more of the bag of chips as he had another nice game. It's his third 30-plus game of the season, if my number tonight for him at 31 is correct. He's a fantastic player. And that finish I told you about during the broadcast, where he literally drove and went through 4 defenders and was surrounded by red shirts in heavy traffic, got hacked, put the shot in anyway, and hit the and one. That might be the best play of the season in terms of just saying to a defense, hey, stop me if you can. 4 of them couldn't. He got the and one, and it was off to the races. It was a big moment in this game. New Pal led much of the first quarter. In fact, it was seesaw back and forth. A lot of lead changes in the first quarter. We were tied 6, 11, and 13. But once Delta got the lead at 18-16, they kept it the rest of the way. New Pal could never get within 6 points the rest of the way. They cut it to 6 twice from memory, but Delta just had too much Eagle for the Dragons tonight in this one out here northeast of Muncie in a fantastic basketball game. About 2,000 fans here for this one tonight, and they certainly got their money's worth. It was a fantastic, typical, well-played Hoosier Heritage Conference basketball game against 2 pretty good programs going at each other. And, man, what more can you say? It was really something to see. Glad you were along for the ride tonight in terms of hearing it. Apologize for the middle of the game glitch. Not sure what happened, but we're glad you got on board the rest of the way, and we got it back to you quickly for the rest of the way. We'll get that fixed in the future, and hopefully that never happens again. But what a phenomenal performance tonight for Delta. The number 5 team in the 3A poll improves to 10-0. Best start in a generation plus out here at Delta, and they've had some pretty good teams. They had a state champion and a state runner-up under Paul Keller. So we got a pretty good history in basketball at Delta High School on the boys' side. And this team at 10-0, I think from memory there were 8 undefeated teams left in the state in boys basketball coming in tonight. And there's going to be at least 7, because if someone gets beat, Delta's still going to be there holding the dub at 10-0 and 2-0 in the Hoosier Heritage Conference race. Phenomenal game tonight. We'll take one more break, see if we can get Coach back to wrap it up after this on Beaver Media and on the Delco Preps channel.
The clutch shot, the timely hit, the perfect pitch, the heroic catch, the brilliant save, the photo finish. The Indiana High School Athletic Association would like to remind you that the biggest plays in sports matter little if you don't practice sportsmanship. Character counts. Practice sportsmanship. This message brought to you by the IHSAA and the high schools in this community.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Indiana. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The clutch shot, the timely hit, the perfect pitch, the heroic catch, the brilliant save, the photo finish. The Indiana High School Athletic Association would like to remind you that the biggest plays in sports matter little if you don't practice sportsmanship. Character counts. Practice sportsmanship. This message brought to you by the IHSAA and the high schools in this community.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Indiana. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special?
They do.
You do.
We all do.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
We're back at Delta High School for the final time tonight. Fantastic win as the Eagles pick off conference rival New Pal by a final of 64-48. Once Delta got the lead, they never gave it back. That 10-0 spurt to start the second quarter gave the Eagles a lead that would be insurmountable the rest of the way for a very good New Pal Dragons ball club. Trent Whitaker's got a quality team, and even though they're just or only in quotation marks 5-3 overall, they're a good team. They're going to win a lot of basketball games between now and tournament time, and I wouldn't want to play them in the sectional. They're going to be really tough to knock out. They're a quality unit. Max Gizzy came in averaging 21-1 for the Dragons. He finishes tonight unofficially with 14, but Delta held him to nothing in the first half, and that was one of the keys for the Eagles, and they did a masterful job on stopping Maximus Gizzy in the first half. He had the ball in his hands a lot, and he had some quality looks, but he had nothing easy and couldn't get a ball to go down in the first 16 minutes. But, man, he's a quality player, and he got 14 after the break. And if they had him at scoring pace through the game instead of just for a half, this might have been a different contest. But Delta and their team defense was fantastic again tonight. And they win another game by double figures, this time by 16, as they knock off New Pal 64-48. That's going to do it for Delta until the county tournament. The Eagles have tomorrow night off. They will not play again until the county tournament. They will play Wapahani in the opening game next weekend, or I guess technically next week. It'll be on January 9th. The county tournament runs through the week, and that'll be an interesting game. That is probably the matchup between the two strongest teams in the county right out of the chute, but there are some other quality teams. Westdale is no slouch in the top 10 in 1A for the Warriors this year. They're pretty good. They could put a scare in some people. But I would say, most people would say Delta Wapahani is probably the best game on paper in the tournament, and they'll play it right out of the chute. So those teams are going to get to know each other really well because they play again in the regular season on January 25th in the game at Wapahani. So you Delta fans and Wapahani fans, you got some basketball smorgasbord coming your way in the very near future. Looks like we're not going to get Coach Detweiler. That's cool. It's always a request, never a demand. And I always tell him that. It's like, you can come up, great. If you can't or don't want to, you got other things to do, entirely cool. I'm fine with it. So congratulations to Coach Detweiler and his team. Delta improves to 10-0 overall, 2-0 in the league, with an impressive 64-48 victory over New Palestine tonight. That's the final score for the final time. For all of us at Beaver Media, I'm Brian Beaver. Thanks for being along for the ride tonight. We'll check in with you on Twitter. Follow my account at Delco Preps for information about the next broadcast of high school basketball on the Delco Preps channel. Until then, have a great rest of your night. Go Colts, go Bears. We'll see you next time right here on the Delco Preps channel. Have a great weekend, everybody.